Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and in today's class with popular demand, we're going to continue with our content on grade 6 math. So today's topic is going to be on adding and subtracting integers. Now this is a new topic for grade 6. Maybe your teacher in grade 5 did maybe an introduction to integers, so you know a little bit about it. However, in grade 6, it is covered in a lot of detail. So with that, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do here is write down a couple of rules, okay, for adding integers. That's what we'll start off with, okay? So what I'm going to put is basically, if you're adding two integers together, okay, and they have the same sign, what you're going to do, okay, I'm going to put is add the numbers, okay? So you're going to add the numbers together. Okay, and I'll put comma there, so we'll just write it in one line here. So after you add the numbers together, you look at the two numbers, okay? Whichever number is bigger here, I'm going to take the sign of that number, okay? So I'm going to put here, take the sign, okay, of the bigger number. Alright, so just like that, okay? And what we're going to do now is basically try an example. So I want to try the example right after I write the rule down, okay? So we can kind of apply it. So say I have, let's do some small numbers, okay? So I have positive 8, okay, plus positive 3. Okay, so now I'm looking, I always put the brackets down, okay, for the integers. I'm looking at both of these numbers here, okay? I notice that the 8 is positive, all right? And the 3 is also positive. So because they both have the same sign here, they both are positive, I'm going to add the numbers together. So I'm going to do 8 plus 3, which is 11. Okay, is everyone with me so far? Okay. Then I'm going to look at both of these numbers and which number is greater here? The 8 or the 3? So right here I notice that the 8 is bigger. I'm going to underline it, okay? The sign for the 8 is positive, so in my final answer, the 11 is also going to be positive. Okay, so I'm going to put positive 11. Okay, so just like that. So let's try one more example. Okay, let's try some negative signs here. So I'm going to do negative 6, okay, plus, let's do negative 2. Okay, so again, I notice we're just adding these integers together. Look inside the brackets for both of these numbers. I notice that the 6 is negative, okay? And the 2 is also negative. Again, the signs are the same, okay? I'm going to add the numbers together. So do 6 plus 2, which is 8, okay? Now I'm going to see which number is bigger here, the 6 or the 2, okay? Don't look at the sign, okay? The 6 is actually bigger in value than the 2 is, okay? So I'm going to take the sign of the 6, and here the 6 is negative. So the answer is going to be negative 8. All right, just like that. Are there any questions so far? Okay, good. So with that, let's go to the next rule. So this is the next major rule for adding the integers together. So I'm going to take this off. Okay. And again, let's write down the rule first, and then we'll try a couple of examples. Okay. So this time, if I have, I'm going to put different signs, okay, because these questions are very popular among the teachers. They might try and trick you here. So when the signs are different, this time I'm going to subtract the two numbers. Okay, so I'm just writing subtract the numbers. Okay, but just like the first rule that we wrote down, I'm going to take the sign of the bigger number, okay? So let's put take the sign, okay, of, I'm going to put of the bigger number, okay? And let's try an example so we can apply this rule, okay? I'm going to put different signs here. So let's do positive 7, okay, plus negative 4. Okay, so now look inside the brackets, okay? I'm looking at both of these numbers here, and I notice, okay, that they have different signs. The 7 is positive here, and the 4 is negative, all right? So because the signs are different, you're just going to subtract the numbers, okay? Students have asked which way, am I doing 7 minus 4 or 4 minus 7? I'm always doing the bigger number minus the smallest number, okay? So 7 minus 4 here, which is 3, okay? And then you're looking at which number is bigger. Is it the 7 or the 4? Here the 7 is bigger. I'm going to underline that, okay? And the sign for 7 is positive. So my answer also has to be positive, okay? So it's going to be positive 3, all right? So let's try one more example. I think it looks good now. Let's do negative 2, okay? Plus, let's do positive 8. How about that? Okay? Again, I'm looking inside the brackets. The signs are different. When the signs are different, you are subtracting the numbers. So we're doing 8 minus 2, okay? Which is equal to 6, like that, all right? And I'm looking at the bigger number. Is it 2 or 8? The 8 is bigger here, okay? So I'm going to underline that. The sign for the 8 is positive. My 6 is going to be positive, okay? Now this might not always be the case, okay? It's always whichever number is bigger. If the 8 is bigger here, right? And if the sign for the 8 was negative, my answer would also be negative, okay? I have to make sure I remember these rules. They are very, very important, okay? These rules are applying only for adding integers, all right? And so with that, let's take a look at subtracting integers, okay? Now, so I'm going to take this off. When you're subtracting the integers, okay, it's not that you have specific distinct rules, okay, for subtracting integers. You're going to change the signs and make it basically into an addition statement. And that way I can basically apply these rules one more time, okay? Let's try an example. Okay, for subtracting integers, okay? So let's do some small numbers again. So let's do positive 4 minus this time, okay, negative 2, okay? So let's try this example here. Okay, so what you're going to do is I see these two signs here. So let's put the equal sign going down, okay? Always write it like that. You're going down in one direction. And your final answer should be like at the bottom here, okay? And so what you're going to do is I'm going to keep the sign in the first brackets the same. So it's positive 4, okay? Now I see it's minus negative 2. Because there are two negatives here, that becomes positive. And I'm going to make everything positive. So it's going to be plus positive 2. So does everyone see that? So I'm changing all the signs to positive here. This is very important. And now I notice I have an addition statement here. I'm just adding the integers. Let's apply the rules that we just went through. So the 4 is positive, the 2 is positive. Because the signs are the same, you are adding these numbers together. I'm doing 4 plus 2, which is equal to 6. Okay, again, which number is bigger, the 4 or the 2? The 4 is bigger here, okay? And you should underline it, okay? So just so you can check your answer as well. And because the 4 is bigger and it is positive, my answer is going to be positive 6. Okay? So let's try an example on this side, okay? I'm going to change the signs around a little bit. Okay, so let's try negative 8 minus, okay, positive 4. So you can see I'm using like really small numbers here, okay? When you're doing questions in the textbook, okay, the numbers will be much bigger, or your teacher might try to give you more challenging questions, okay? Make sure you are still just applying these rules, okay? Because there's no way that the teacher can trick you. Okay, so let's take a look at this example here. Okay, again, I'm going to keep whatever is in the first bracket. You're just going to keep that number the same, okay? This time, you notice that the signs are different. I have a negative and a positive, which is going to make a negative. So it's going to be minus 4, okay? Or if you want to, let's rewrite it one more time in the next step here, okay? So nobody gets confused. I can put negative 8 plus negative 4. Okay, a good way I remember is if the signs are different, I'm going to put some arrows here. I'm just kind of switching the signs, okay? I think that would be a better way to remember it. Okay, whatever is positive is going outside because I'm changing this into an addition statement. And that negative sign is going to go inside the brackets, okay? So I can see that the 4 is negative here, all right? So again, it's an addition statement and I'm going to apply the same rules, okay? The signs are the same here. The 8 is negative and the 4 is also negative. I'm going to add the numbers together. Okay, so I'm doing 8 plus 4, okay, which is equal to 12. And again, I'm seeing which number is bigger. The 8 is bigger than the 4. So right here, the sign for the 8 is negative, okay? So my answer is also going to be negative, okay? So the answer here is going to be negative 12, all right? So again, make sure you're just applying the rules that we went through. They're actually very important. It's important that you memorize these rules, okay? The teacher can try and trick you with all these different signs, okay? Always make sure in the first brackets you're keeping the sign the same. And after that, you can see for subtracting integers, I'm just remembering the rules for two negatives have to make a positive. If it's a positive and negative, just make the arrows so you can switch the signs around. And that way you don't get confused, all right? All right, that looks good. So this video basically covered kind of an introduction to integers where you're adding and subtracting the integers. Okay, again, make sure you're doing a lot of practice questions in the textbook. Okay, there are also some word problems which are application questions associated with integers. And make sure you go through that for a good review. All right. So again, thank you for watching this video. I hope you all learned something, and if you did, make sure you're clicking on the like button below and subscribe to the channel. And I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks, bye.